Before we begin, remember who we are. America is more than a nation. It's a story. A story written by millions of hands, strengthened by millions of voices, and carried forward by people who never stopped believing in unity. This is Nation United, 1776, where we bring Americans together by telling the truth about who we are, who we've been, and who we can still become. America feels divided today. Some say it's more divided than ever. Some believe the fractures are permanent, that the country is breaking apart. But the historical truth, the cultural truth, and the measurable truth tell a very different story. Beneath the noise, beneath the headlines, beneath the arguments, something else is happening, something quieter, steadier, and far more powerful. America is being pulled together by forces most people don't see. America has lived through far worse than this. The United States has endured moments of chaos, bitterness, and deep internal conflict that make today's tensions look mild by comparison. In the 1790s, newspapers openly accused political rivals of treason. In the 1860s, the country literally tore itself in two. In the Gilded Age, corruption ran wild. In the Great Depression, democracy seemed to be collapsing worldwide. In the 1960s, leaders were assassinated and cities burned. In the early 1990s, public trust hit historic lows. In every one of those moments, people said America was finished, and every time, they were wrong. Division has never defined America. Rebuilding has. And right now, whether we recognize it or not, the rebuilding has already begun. Researchers studying decades of data from the General Social Survey, the U.S. Census, and the American National Election studies consistently find that Americans agree on far more than they disagree on. Not just on vague generalities, but on concrete values and goals. Most Americans believe in fairness under the law. Most support free speech. Most believe in equal opportunity. Most believe in peaceful transitions of power. Most want stability, decent work, dignity, safety, and opportunity for their families. These aren't left values or right values. They're American values, and they are widely shared. Even on hot-button issues, when you remove party labels, most Americans fall surprisingly close to one another. Ordinary people want practical solutions, not endless drama. They want the country to work. They want a future that makes sense. A powerful unifying force lives in local communities. National headlines can make it seem like everyone is furious, but local trust in America is strong. Americans trust their neighbors. They trust teachers, firefighters, nurses, and community leaders. They show up for each other in ways that never make the news. Volunteering is up in many states. Community organizations, food banks, and neighborhood initiatives are growing. Civic responsibility is not dying, it's shifting downward, becoming more local, more hands-on, and more personal. Local trust is one of the strongest predictors of national resilience. George Washington warned that faction was dangerous, but he also emphasized that shared institutions, shared morality, and shared civic habits would hold the nation together. Those habits are alive and well in millions of American communities. Demographics create another powerful force for unity. America is one of the most integrated societies in human history. Census data shows rising rates of intermarriage, interregional movement, multilingual homes, and blended cultural identities. Americans are mixing more than ever, culturally, ethnically, socially, and geographically. This blending makes it harder to maintain rigid divides. Families themselves are becoming bridges. Political scientists call this cross-cutting identity. When people have multiple overlapping identities, religious, cultural, regional, economic, generational, division weakens Because no single identity dominates. When your family, workplace, church, team, or neighborhood includes people with different beliefs, division collapses into community. Economically basic goals. People want good jobs, fair wages, safe neighborhoods, affordable homes, strong schools, and opportunities for their children. No matter where someone lives, these priorities are the same. Economic desires unify the country far more than ideological debates divide it. America's constitutional system, though messy and frustrating, is another unifying force. The founders expected conflict and disagreement. They designed the system not to eliminate conflict, but to manage it. Madison believed that a large republic with many interests would prevent any single faction from dominating, and more than 2 centuries later, that principle still holds. Congress has always been dysfunctional by nature. In the 1800s, representatives physically attacked each other. In the early 20th century, major bills took years to pass. The system is loud because it is designed to contain conflict, not erase it. And through every period of dysfunction, Americans themselves remained far more stable than their politicians. Culture is another force binding Americans together. We watch the same movies, cheer for the same teams, celebrate the same holidays, and share the same national moments, both joyful and painful. When tragedy strikes, Americans unite instinctively. When triumph arrives, they celebrate together. Shared culture forms invisible connections that cross political and geographic lines. Immigration, often framed as divisive, has historically united America by renewing its identity and strengthening its communities. Immigrant diaries, letters, and oral histories show tremendous gratitude for freedom and opportunity. Economic and demographic data show immigrants contribute to the labor force, enrichent culture, and excellent emploi. Immigration has always been a source of national renewal, not national fracture. Now, before we continue, this is a good moment for a message from Nation United 1776. If you're still watching, it means you care about America's future, not the noise, not the outrage, not the chaos, but the country itself. Our mission here is simple: tell the truth, bring people together, and remind Americans that unity is not only possible, it is already happening. If this message resonates with you, share this video with someone who needs to hear a story of hope instead of fear. Unity spreads one person at a time. Back to the story. Another source of unity is America's national narrative. Every nation has a founding myth, not myth as in false, but myth as in foundational. America's myth is the idea of striving toward a more perfect union. Striving is the key word. Americans don't expect perfection. They expect progress. They believe direct itself, reform itself, and rise failures. That belief, persistent across generations, is a powerful unifying force. Human beings tend to come together during uncertainty. When faced with economic shocks, natural disasters, national emergencies, or technological upheaval, Americans consistently rediscover their shared identity. They cooperate. They help each other. They put differences aside to meet the moment. This instinct has appeared in every generation. Much of America's apparent division comes from the digital world. Online platforms reward anger, amplify extremes, and distort public perception. But offline, Americans cooperate in thousands of quiet ways every single day. They work together. They raise families together. They help neighbors. They worship together. They share common spaces. They live ordinary lives that never make the news but shape the true character of the nation. The founders feared disunity, not disagreement. Disagreement was expected. It was part of the democratic process. Disunity, the collapse of shared identity, was the real danger. But that shared identity still exists. Most Americans, regardless of politics, believe in the Constitution. They believe in freedom. They believe in fairness. They believe in the American experiment. These beliefs form the backbone of national unity. America is not held together by perfect harmony. It's held together by millions of ordinary people who share ordinary values and ordinary hopes. The country isn't as fragile as it feels. It isn't as broken as it seems. It isn't nearly as divided as the loudest voices claim. America is at a crossroads, but crossroads are not symbols of collapse. They are symbols of choice. They are places where new paths open. They are reminders that America's story is always being rewritten, always being renewed, always being rediscovered by the people who believe in it. The hidden forces bringing Americans together: shared values, civic engagement, demographic blending, local trust, cultural continuity, immigrant renewal. Constitutional stability and belief in the national story are not imaginary. They are real, measurable, historical power. America is not falling apart. Litikitli, sterilime stably back together. Thank you for watching. If this messaging to you, remember this union, it's a practice, a commitment, a choice we make every day. This is Nation United 1776. We tell the American story honestly, respectfully, and together. Until next time, stay united, stay hopeful, and stay committed to the nation we all share.